Welcome back to Seefeld, the second event of the day, about to get underway. The women's 4x5 kilometer relay. 2 legs classic, 2 legs freestyle. 17 teams in all, 2 probable winners, 1 possible winner. Everyone thinking it's going to be a major battle between Sweden and Norway. We will see.
Another hot and sunny day here in Seefeld. Today we're getting ready for the country versus country 4x5 kilometers relay for the women. And you can see the sun is shining, but there are some dark clouds over Seefeld. The big story here is still developing. It's yesterday's news that Austrian police has detained 9 people, including 5 athletes, on a dope raid in the center of the city. 2 of those athletes are Austrian. It's Dominik Baldorf and Max Hauke. And thank you so much for joining us, the cross-country coordinator Trond Nystad from the Austrian championship team. Can you take us through the last 24 hours?
It's been very difficult 24 hours. We got up in the morning and it was like a dream. You know, nice weather, all kinds of spectators were looking forward to the race, and then we get a phone call from the media that 2 of our athletes have been involved in doping, and then it's like a nightmare. It's like, it's just sad. It's horrible.
What was your reaction then?
Well, it's like in the beginning you don't want to believe it. It's like there's been no evidence that I've done anything, so it's just huge surprise. But I heard it and had to call my boss and ask if this can be true, and he confirmed it. So yeah, it was a sad day for us, sad day for the sport. The only good thing is that we've seen that police have done great work. They've been able to catch the athletes who've been cheating. They've been able to get the guys that are doing it, enabling the athletes, so that's the only positive thing.
But do you believe that they are cheating?
Well, all the evidence suggests that, so we have to wait until the police are done, and then we can make clear statements. But according to the evidence, according to the media, then it doesn't leave much doubt.
Because this happened in the heart of Seefeld. Yeah. It was in a place in the heart of Seefeld, and the police call it like a doping saloon. Yeah. What's your reaction to that?
I didn't believe it either when I heard it. It's like you tried to make a bad film and then you heard something like that, and you're like, nah, that's unrealistic, that's impossible. But that's what they've been doing. It's absolutely crazy.
But you're the cross-country coordinator. Are you surprised? What did you know?
I'm extremely surprised. I can only speak for our country. We had our case with the Johannes Dude. Then they cleaned house. We started with new athletes. And these guys are really nice guys. It would be easy to hate someone if they're difficult people, but they're nice guys. You sit there and talk to them. They're just as pissed off as everyone else when someone is cheating, and then they go and do the same thing. It's just horrible. So it's hard to find words for something like that.
Tomorrow they're not starting in the relay. The Austrian team is out for the relay tomorrow for the men. What happens now to Austrian cross-country skiing?
Well, we don't know much. We watched TV yesterday where the Strucksnadel said that things will for sure change, that probably they will stop supporting cross-country skiing. So this was the plan, this was supposed to be the start of cross-country skiing in a new era in Austria. In the end, this is where we died.
What happens to you now?
Well, we'll see. I mean, we're going to be here till Sunday. We have a young 19-year-old skier who's going to... His dream was to ski World Championships, so we're going to try to support him as best as we can, give him the best skis that we can give him, and then we'll see how the cards mix up after Sunday. But if it's true, what's come out in the media the last couple of days, then I'm done with Austria.
All right. Thank you so much for joining us, Trond Nystad, the cross-country coordinator for the Austrian ski team. Okay, let's talk about the sports, because we're only like 20-25 minutes away from the 4x5 kilometer relay here in Seefeld. Let's go back 2 years ago, because the relay was, well, that was a demonstration of force for the Norwegian team who won by a minute, but the fight for the silver, that was a thriller.
Norway putting out a very strong quartet as expected in the Lahti relay. Falla Weng did a fine job on the first two legs, but it was Astrid Jakobsen who blew the field apart with her performance on the third leg. And when you give Marit Bjørgen a decent lead, there is no one in the world who can catch a 56 seconds she had clear, and she just got stronger and stronger. And Marit Bjørgen, really the queen of Lahti. A phenomenal record, the most successful female of all time, Marit Bjørgen, now the most successful Olympian of all time in terms of Winter Games. And this was just another feather in her cap. Norway coming home to take the win, 52-21. But a real epic battle between Sweden, Finland, and initially the United States for the silver and bronze medal. Sweden and Finland breaking away from the Americans in the closing stages. Haag, Kalle, Anderson, Nielsen. It's a familiar-looking team, most of them in action today.
All right, here's the Russian team. Will they win it today? Well, we don't know, but we'll be soon back with Devon's podium. And it's a surprise. See you soon. Back to Eurosport's coverage of the FIS Nordic Ski World Championship here in Seefeld. We're only 14 tiny small minutes away from the start of the 4x5 kilometer relay for women. And what a surprising start for the Norwegians.
To take out a relay team is always very difficult, and I think we have used a lot of time and a lot of thoughts and discussions with the girls to get the best background to do the right decision. And for us, it has been perhaps the most difficulties between Heidi Weng and Maiken Falla. We really have no good reason that it ended with Heidi. It's they're close, and we're sure they will do a good job on the first leg, both of them. That part of the job is, of course, one of the most difficult and worst things we always do, but Maiken handled it extremely good.
Norway, of course, one of the strongest countries in the relay, but according to Iversen, they're not the big favourites.
I think they are the favourite, perhaps more than Norway too. And Russia, of course. If US are with us after the Classic, they always will be in the finish, but we think perhaps we will be better on the two first legs.
Yeah, and you were kind of surprised, Devon, when you saw the starting order for the Norwegians. Why?
Absolutely, I'm surprised. Heidi Weng, as much as an amazing skier as she is, she's won the overall World Cup the last couple of years, but she's struggled this year, and to put her out first, I feel like it's a bit of a risk for Norway, but at the same time, if she can get back to her old ways, it will work out. But I think it's a coin flip, Carsten. I'm not sure.
All right, we can see here Heidi Weng is doing the first leg for Norway. We just heard from one of the favorites, that's Norway. Let's listen to one of the outsiders. Here's the US coach, Chris Grover.
We are here with Chris Grover, the US head coach. And Chris, you're maybe one of the outsiders for today's relay. How do you see your chances of getting away with a medal?
You know, for us, like with the women and relay, they show so much tenacity so many times out there that you really never know. I mean, we could end up being fifth, but we could also end up being third, for example, on the right day when everything comes together for us. We've got some really experienced women in this race. Jessie, of course, has closed a lot of races for us as an anchor leg. Sadie's been in a lot of relays, and both those women have been on multiple relays that have been on the podium in World Cup over the years. I know these guys in the wax truck are putting together some really good skis, and you just got to get out there and see what happens. It's always really fun with our women to watch how they kind of like rise to the occasion often on relay days and actually ski beyond themselves a little bit. So we're excited to see what happens.
Girls who like to do something as a team.
Yeah, absolutely. Relay days are really important for everyone on the team, and they take it quite seriously. They want to represent not only themselves but their nation, and they really want to ski hard for the other women on the team, and so they get up for this race. And the socks will be out, the sparkles will be out. It is going to be a full force effort.
Okay, it's going to be exciting to see what the American girls can do today.
As amazing as the U.S. ski team is, sadly, I think they're going to be in tough. My pick for the bronze medal is the strong Russian team. There's one tough leg there, but they have proven to be so strong. Norway, the big favorite, the big champions of this championship so far, I picked them second, sadly. Wang's too much of a question mark for me. And Sweden, if all these four women ski like they can, ski up to their potential, I can't see anybody beating them. With Carlson and Kalla skied well in the skate part of the pursuit, and remember, she fell in that skate part, so I think Sweden's the team to beat.
All right, but if you look at the stages, stage 1, Heidi Weng against Ebba Andersson and Balerukova. Who's going to win that one? Who's going to have the first exchange?
Well, do you know what's going to be tough? I would actually pick Balerukova as of right now. Ebba Andersson has been sick, which is always really tough when you're coming in. She didn't have the best 10K Classic, but she has been so strong. And Heidi Weng, like I said, she had a great pursuit to be into the top 10 like that, but I'm a little worried with 5K Classic.
All right, and then the second stage, we do have Frida Karlsson, the silver winner from the 10K against Östberg of Norway, then Sedova of Russia. That's Sweden's stage.
Oh yeah, that's a big one, and this is going to be so important. I mean, Frida Karlsson's only 19 years old, and she's a junior, but she's fresh off a silver medal performance, so confidence isn't going to be any higher than this. She's shown that here at these championships, she has been skiing classic better than Östberg, but we're just going to have to wait and see. But I would imagine she would tag off to that third leg in a lead.
Yeah, and then they changed the style from classic to skate. Then it's Jakobsen versus Charlotte Kalla. We don't know her form yet. And Anna Nichevskaya, which probably is the weaker card on the paper for the Russian team.
Exactly. I think that's where it could go a little sideways for Russia. But Charlotte Kalla, I was really impressed from what I saw in the skate part of the pursuit on the weekend. I think she's going to be tough to beat. That said, Astrid Jakobsen was fourth in that race, and I know some folks at home are probably like, yeah, and Kalla was sixth, so why are we talking about this? But Kalla has shown so many times how strong she is in skating.
And look at that, stage 4. Stina Nilsson. No one takes her in the sprint. Therese Johaug has her capacity, and Neprayeva, she can hang over a grizzly bear in Siberia any day, because she won't quit.
Oh yeah, she's so tough. But Stina Nilsson is going to have to really dig deep to hang on if it's close. And if they come into the stadium together and they're coming into the run-in side by side, everybody knows Stina Nilsson is going to outsprint Therese Johaug. But the question remains, Therese is one of the highest VO2 maxes ever recorded for a female athlete. She's 2 for 2 here in Seefeld. She could break.
All right, let's see. Devin think that Sweden is the favorite to win this. Let's listen to Swedish coach Richard Grip.
We are here with the Swedish coach Richard Grip, and the big battle today is likely to be Norway versus Sweden. And in the Swedish team, Frida Karlsson took a surprising, impressive silver medal, and there was no way you could leave her out of the team after that.
No, and she had been one girl that we had. She had been in the discussion for quite a long time, but we want to see how she make it during the championship here, and it's for sure she is ready for this.
And you actually thought that she would go the second leg against Therese Johaug, but that's not going to happen.
No, they changed. They make a move there. So, but that's also seems a little bit scared for Sweden as well. But I think we should be. We cannot forget that we have Russia as well. I think if you look what they have done during this championship, they have a really strong team.
So Russia, Norway, Sweden. Any other countries you see as strong teams today?
There's for sure there will be some teams, but it's hard to say which one it should be. You have Finland, you have USA, but they have not been so impressive and had so good results so far.
That Norway is using Therese Johaug on that last leg. Does that change anything for you?
No, we will go as fast as we can from start to finish, and hopefully we have some seconds when we're going out for the last leg, and then we will see what happens.
In your opinion, is your team stronger than Norway and Russia today?
we will see when we're crossing the finish line.
Okay, we will see what Sweden can do today, Karsten.
Well, Norway won in 2011, they won in 2013, they won in 2015, they won in 2017. How about 2019? Is it finally Sweden's turn? Well, we'll be right back from Seefeld.
Here is the start list for the women's 4x5, a much anticipated race here in Seefeld. Norway versus Sweden. As you were hearing in the build-up, Sweden a very, very strong quartet, especially as their youngsters, Anderson particularly showing good strength. And they, I think, feel they have the beating of Norway. Not for the first time at these championships. Sweden, of course, taking the team sprint event in the women's as well. 17 teams in all. And I guess for most of the teams, Mike, it's a case of hang on as long as you can.
Survive, exactly. Survive as long as you can. You just, this first leg with Ebba Andersson leading Sweden out, with Heidi Weng, who has, let's be honest, been off form. Bella Rukova may well be the leader on that first leg. It's setting the pace. And it's going to be very interesting. Jakobsen for me in the Norwegian third leg, that's something of a surprise. She didn't show much confidence in her last race. She was very, very disappointed. I think maybe Norway could set themselves up today for being attacked also by Russia, and maybe beaten by Russia today as well.
Only 3 minutes left to go before the start of the women's 4x5. I think Bella Rukova's instructions and Ebba Andersson's instructions are break away from Norway as early as you can. And if Sweden or Russia have a lead of 30 seconds over Norway going into that final leg, even Therese Johaug on this course is going to find that difficult. There is a big climb, the traditional big climb before they come back down into the stadium, but it's not long enough really for Johaug to take full advantage of her incredible cardiovascular capacity. Bella Rukova hands over to Sadova Neveskaya. The key leg for Russia, really, the third one. Nepraeva will be solid at the end. Finland, the last team to beat Norway in a relay. You have to go all the way back to 2009. They actually won in 2007 as well.
They did, and Ropinen that day was there. She's here again today at, what, 41-year-old?
Yes, Finland, the oldest average age of a team of over 30. The United States, great record, 4th in Pyeongchang at the Olympics last year. They finished 6th in Ulricehammer, a World Cup earlier this season, which was disappointing. But the Americans also getting 4th in the Junior World Championship, so they've got a great future ahead. Germany start with Victoria Karl, 5th in Pyeongchang. Switzerland, they were 6th out in Pyeongchang in the Olympics. Can they do something? It's a good-looking team, perhaps leg 3 again, where they might come unstuck. Well, those are the 6 big teams. Slovenia wearing 8, Italy 9, Poland wearing 10, and the Czech Republic 11. Suddenly, they are racing for each other, not against each other. It's a very different atmosphere in the stadium today. The stands are packed, Mike, and after the excitement of the men's 15K yesterday, they want more of the same.
It was exciting yesterday, and I think this will be one of the most memorable relays we've seen for many years at a major.
Here we go. Heidi Weng with a lot of responsibility on her shoulders, trying to make it 5 from 5 for the Norwegians. But there's a big difference this year. The last 4 victories Norway have had at World Championship level have all been anchored by the great Marit Bjørgen, who is now retired. And so Therese Johaug has leg 4. We both thought she'd go on the second classic leg to try and break clear.
We did, and if you've got someone in your Norwegian lineup who really doesn't have that final sting, the sprint, yes, she's got the killer sting on the track, but it's often a lunge to the line, and Therese Johaug is the least effective, I think, as an anchor in the last 10 meters from her whole team. And Sweden's strategy will be clear from the start. Ebba Andersson will have been advised, try and take it strong from the word go.
5 kilometers the distance, and Heidi Weng just puts the arms out to try and kill the speed coming up behind Belarukova. Nothing between them. They won't split until we come to the first substantial uphill section. We're expecting a time of between 11.5 and 12.5 minutes. The snow is not quick, Mike, but the first leg runners get the best of it.
They do get the best of it. These tracks will become far less effective. They'll be slushy and mushy, and the sidewalls will have been affected. Very, very easy first 2 minutes, Patrick. Then we start climbing up this fairly long incline. Very easy track, and this will allow weaker skiers to glue themselves, attach themselves to the lead. They've only got to suffer 12 minutes today.
Norway hadn't won the women's relay before 2005, which is a remarkable record. Since then, they've hardly lost it. But you know, their women's team have not been as strong as their men's. Belarukova starting to stride out. Heidi Weng double poles further than everyone else. I'm not sure what that's about, but she seems to have decent grip, but just seems to be struggling with the rhythm of Belarukova, who's got a slightly longer stride.
I was just a little worried about Heidi Weng in second place in this right-hand column. It seemed like her left foot or the left ski was maybe gripping too much.
She's only got another 10 minutes to hang on, Mike. It's looking good at the moment.
Well, that's it, and that's why this relay is going to be so tight, hard to break away. Therese Johaug as the anchor. We've said maybe she's not a finisher, but she can create a lot of damage on the track.
Germany's Victoria Karl takes a share of the lead, comes from Zella Mellis, formerly in Eastern Germany, 5th in the sprint, so she'll be pretty handy in the closing stages of this first leg.
Well, look at that, nearly 240 into the base of the most serious climb, the hard work climb.
And that, of course, is the 1 kilometer marker. Shevchenko for Kazakhstan, 7.7 behind. Ukraine at 8.3. There's no way of making it any closer. They've only got 2 spores to run in.
And immediately, Patrick, from the blazing sun into the shade, there's an immediate 6-degree change in snow temperature, and that's difficult for the wax technicians to find the perfect balance of grip and glide.
But this side of the course predominantly shaded, or it has been up until recently. I think that will certainly have aided the technicians. They don't want to be going back over onto the red side where we saw the men racing yesterday. Team 5, that's the United States. Julia Kern has taken the first leg for them. She's raced the sprint and the skiathlon. I think she got top 20 in the skiathlon. She did, 19th place.
I think she's had an exceptional World Championships and big responsibility for the least experienced athlete in the American team. Look how easy this track is, Patrick. There's separation of only, what, 2-3 seconds between them all.
Who do you think that suits?
I think that suits it's a disadvantage. The stronger teams aren't able to get away. It really opens up, I think, for Germany, for the United States, even Switzerland, Slovenia, to hang on in here and then really challenge all the way through.
And the thing that strikes me is, if it's this easy and they stay together, it suits those who've got a good sprinter on the last leg. And who has the world's best sprinter on the last leg? Sweden, with Stina Nilsson.
I think they've got the strategy right. Interesting that they also had expected Johaug to take the second leg classic, but you can't build your team not knowing, maybe rumours, but not knowing 100% what your opposition are going to do. And I think Norway has pulled a fast one.
So would you have raced Johaug on the second leg, taken Weng out of it, and put Faller on the anchor leg, because she's the only woman in the world who can cope with the speed of Nilsson over the last 500?
I would have preferred to get Faller out of the way early. She's got the track pace. You don't want to leave risk till later. And Faller has gone before, let's be honest. Of course, in Finland and Lahti, Faller took the first leg and she handed over in first position.
So it's Germany still leading. Victoria Karl is there. Belarukova of Russia in 2. Anderson of Sweden and Weng of Norway side by side, going round the top of the big climb. Next time round, I think we'll see a few fireworks. Doesn't really matter who leads on this occasion. Weng keeping the arms out wide, trying to buy herself a little bit of space. It's still quite quick on this section of the course. Earlier on in the day, it was up to the 55 to 60 kilometer an hour. The heat has slowed it a fraction, but I think Germany's technicians will be delighted, because Victoria Karl seems to be on the best pair of skis out there. Belarukova Normally, with the slipstream, you'd expect her to go ahead, but no. It's still Victoria Carl who has pole position. The first 2.5-kilometre lap almost completed.
6 minutes of racing, Patrick, and barely any separation in these top teams, and the others closing in now. Italy coming back into it. Well, something of a surprise. We normally see a gap created this early after 6 minutes in the women's relay.
So who's going to be happiest at the moment? Again, Heidi Weng going for a lot of double poling. She's got another 2.5k lap to go. You want to save those arms for later on. Sweden's Ebba Andersson looking very comfortable, and of course she's one of the big stars at 21. Now, Mike, if you look at the experience, Sweden, an average age of 25.5. They've got 31 World Cup wins between them, the quartet, 20 of those going to Kalle. You've got 33 medals between them. But Norway, average age 29.5, just under 30, 81 World Cup wins and 42 medals.
The depth, the experience and the wisdom of that Norwegian team. And, you know, I know they're maybe not favourites today, but put them in the red suits, put them racing for Norway, and they're very, very difficult to beat.
And if you include Russia in that equation, 2 World Cup wins between all 4 of them and 3 medals at major championships. So you can see the chasm between Sweden, Norway and the rest of the field.
On paper, we do see that, but today's different, and these wet conditions. Yes, it's been 6 minutes since they last skied on the track, but the first athlete, it's a little wetter. They'll press the damp out of the snow, so that maybe will hold the lead athlete back a little in the classic.
Do you think anyone could have double poled this in this field?
I don't think so. I think Marit Bjørgen, with those arms that Marit had, was the only athlete, female athlete, that could handle serious double polling. And I do think that as the years go by, that'll be an element where the women's field becomes much stronger in the shoulders, the upper body and the arms.
Russia, Germany, Norway, Sweden, the leading 4 teams. America, Finland and Italy in that little group behind. Again, Victoria Carl on a fabulous pair of skis. And there's our first faller going down, number 12, France, with Anouk Faith-Pisson. And she's lost, what, 20 seconds max, but probably lost the same number of places as well.
Belorukova, worryingly for the Russians, her glide factor is very poor on those skis.
Germany, Norway, Russia, Sweden. Welcome back to Seefeld, up to the 3.5-kilometre marker, going through 2.5. We had Russia, Norway, Germany, Sweden, Canada and the United States, the top 6 teams. We've seen a little fall from the French. That's pushed them back down the order. Canada's still up there in the top 8 positions now. Japan just moving ahead of them. They've put their best skier first. Fabre-Pisson in 10. Van de Graaff of Switzerland 11. But we do have 11 teams within 10 seconds of the race leaders. And suddenly Andersson of Sweden is starting to pull. Well, she's trying to get away. It's not going to be so easy.
Everything Andersson's doing is she's been entirely shaded by Heidi Weng. Heidi Weng will not let go easily.
Yeah, Heidi Weng can consider herself lucky. So much competition between her and Faller to get the position in the team. Heidi Weng, I know she's not on her best form, Mike, but she's so experienced at these sort of relays. And with Faller, there's always that question mark, is 5K one too far?
That is so, well, that is true. The out-and-out sprinter, you do wonder, and of course, when you sprint, it's only 1.2 to 1.6 kilometers. Well, one other concern for me, a little concern, is Jakobsen. Remember the Olympics last year? She was handed over with 1 second behind the Russian team. She handed over 29 seconds behind. She, unfortunately, that was leg 2. She shed so many tears between then and the end of the race, and she was so happy Marit brought it back to 1 second victory.
Fair point, but go back 2 years and Jakobsen took 18 seconds out of everyone to take Norway from second into first and give Bjørgen a lead for the last leg.
I'm with you, but her body language after the classic race, she was gutted. She was way off pace. Her form in the skiathlon was brilliant. In 4th place, she really lost something on the second day of racing here.
Well, maybe that's why she is taking a freestyle leg. Belarukova suddenly ups the pace. This is the big climb that we saw in the sprint, the part of the course that really determined the winners. Are we going to see anyone hold back at the top of the climb? I don't think so, because the leading three have started to open up a little bit of a gap between themselves and the leaders. Heidi Weng, you can see the determination on her face in the gold bib. The defending champions Norway, 4 times they've won this on the trot at World Championship level. Sweden, Mike, they haven't won this since the 1950s, and that was only when the Olympic Games was included as a World Championship race. But they did win the Olympics in 2014, and that was one of the classics.
Oh, that was so good. And of course, Kalla on the anchor leg on that day. They've got a good anchor leg today instead of Nielsen. But that injury, will it play a little negativity for Nielsen? What, 5 weeks of recovery since then, and she's shown she has the strength here at the World Championships.
So has that burst of speed from Belarukova shown us who the medalists are going to be? Russia, Sweden, Norway. There wouldn't have been anyone in the crowd who would have chosen any other 3 teams for the podium. The only thing that differs is they can't quite decide who's going to come out on top.
Now, isn't it interesting? So many teams. There were 10 teams within 5.5 seconds until the base of that big climb. Now it's the big engines, the strong skiers that destroy the field so quickly.
Yeah, that is where the race is going to be won and lost. The rest of the course is remarkably simple compared to the big climb. Interesting there, Mike. Belarukova first down. She started working again 50 meters before Heidi Weng, and that could, you know, indicate that Weng and Anderson have more in the tank for this final little climb before they come in for the first exchange.
Heidi Weng, she's done nothing wrong, but Isberg on the next leg for the Norwegians. She's done so much right here, but she's raced in almost every race. In fact, every race. There's a small question mark there for Isberg. She has to be just a little tired.
Isberg versus Carlsen. What a battle. Carlsen second in the skiathlon. Isberg, or second in the 10K. Isberg third, only fractions of seconds apart. So very difficult to decide who's going to win that one.
Chasing group now 10 seconds. That's the damage the steep climb has had. Number 7, complete loss of pace.
That's
there
Van de Graaff of Switzerland. And
is it the wax? Is it the engine?
No, I think that looks like a racing pulse rate to me. The heart is out of control, and actually that's the sort of thing we were expecting with the heat conditions we've got here in Seefeld.
Boiling hot. When you're in these lycra suits, it cooks you even more. Handover zone, only 30 meters long.
Sweden's Anderson handing over to the junior Frida Karlsson, who got herself a sensational silver medal in the 10-kilometer classic. She goes in classic again. Is this going to be the leg that determines who takes gold here? Østberg straight in behind Karlsson. I think the Norwegian orders are stick with Sweden and you'll win this one, because Johaug is the quickest skier out there. But Johaug, Mike, has got 2 climbs in which to work her magic. I think they're going to find that Nielsen's got the guts to hang on.
I'm not sure if Johaug opens up her incredible tempo to its max, and Nielsen will find that difficult. Sweden's game plan must be to have 15 seconds before the last leg advantage.
I think Weng really rewarded the selectors there with her performance.
She did not let them down. They were slightly concerned. She didn't let them down.
Russia, Sweden, Norway, the leading 3. A gap of 7 seconds between 3rd and 4th position. Germany, Italy, Japan fighting it out for the major positions at the moment. Finland are 18 seconds down. France at 29. Canada at 33. And the United States, Mike, 44 behind. That's a really disappointing start. Julia Kern on the first leg for the Americans. And now it's Sadie Bjornsson who has a lot of work to do to close it down.
Julia started so well the first lap. She did nothing wrong, but began to feel the pain the second lap.
Well, the speed has changed at the front of the course, and instead of just having 3 out front, Italy have joined the leaders. Germany have rejoined the leaders. Germany on good skis. Katarina Hennig there on the left of your screen. She's not had a bad season. The Germans thought she was their best chance of an individual medal.
Yes, and her outing at the Junior World Under-23 World Championships, what did she walk away with 2 bronze medals? Competitive in all the races there.
That's quite a burst of speed from Germany and Italy to make contact, Mike. they may pay the price later on. That's what we've seen at these championships so far.
And it appeared, though, over a short while there, the opportunity was there to haul it back quickly because nobody really wanted to take the initiative between Russia, Sweden and Norway to go out front. I thought we'd see Frida Karlsson just go straight out front.
Finland with Krista Palmakoski on this second leg, so expect to see them starting to close the gap. But Palmakoski has not been firing on all her finished cylinders so far these championships.
Switzerland, we saw Van de Graaf suffering. They're down 135 behind, 15th position.
Germany have won this title, but you have to go all the way back to 2003 in Val di Fiemme. Henkel was certainly in the team. Kunzel was in the team. Was it Bauer and Sackenbacher? Sackenbacher certainly took the anchor leg on that occasion.
Indeed. Well, there's Frida going to the front, so maybe she was just getting a rhythm, feeling the rhythm of the day.
And of all the leading 5 teams, Sweden are the team that won it longest ago. They've only got 1 victory. As I mentioned, it was part of the Olympics. Heidi Weng, relief as much as anything else.
Total relief there, and, and you can understand the pressures this Norwegian team are under. Yes, they've got endless medals here, but they want this one more than most.
Now, tell us something about Karlsson. She's tall, she's light. She absolutely blew us away with her 10-kilometer performance.
It was quite incredible. She was so close to winning that one against the great Therese Johaug. Strong mind, and also a very good psychologist working with that strong mind. Couple that with a strong engine, you've got a winner.
Change of tracks from all the skiers. Karlsson went first, followed by the Russians, and Russia with Anastasia Sedova on the course at the moment, 6th in the 10K Classic. She wasn't far off the mark then, and Russia's last medal back in 2013, so 6 years since the Russians have been on the podium. And if you go back to the early days of World Championships, the USSR won time and time again, 12 victories in all.
Incredible, and they had 5 of them were consecutive World Championships. That's rare. Of course, Norway today, if they get today, that'll then be them equaling that record. This race is surprising, Patrick. It's not going full blast yet. I know this is the first lap of 2 in the second leg.
I think Østberg making a very good move, Mike, going out front because she is controlling the pace. Karlsson's good, but as a youngster, she's much more likely to show Østberg respect.
And this is Norway's game plan. They know that Sweden's game plan is to get away. For the missile that the Norwegians have on the last leg, they know that Sweden want a breakaway gap of minimum 15, hopefully 30 if they want to win today.
Kalle versus Jakobsen, the key leg. It's the next leg, but these athletes have roughly 3.2 kilometers still to go.
Oh, look at this. Nobody wants to lead down here. Come on, you have to keep the momentum.
Doesn't matter at this stage. Just get down. Keep the gap between yourself and the chasing teams. They can't afford too much cat and mouse at this stage.
And Kalle, we're talking about Kalle on the third leg. She hasn't really been at her best. If she was at her best that we saw in Sochi, where she took Sweden from 4th to 1st, a miracle last leg. If she had that form here, Sweden would be relaxing a lot more.
Yeah, and as you mentioned, Jakobsen's had both good experiences in the relay and bad experiences. I think Kalle will be trying to exploit that bad experience and really making her hurt over the first lap, and then trying to hang on in there. And Kalle's got so much experience. She's a real fighter. Russia alongside Norway at the front of the field. Germany and Sweden in 3rd and 4th at the moment, and the Italians, who last won a medal in this event back in 2005, the days of De Centa and of course Valbusa and Stefania Belmondo. What an athlete she was.
She reminds me of Belmondo, the figure, the size, the shape, a little bit like Therese Johaug, small, lightweight, but an absolute fighter.
So Østberg leads. This will be the final climb next time round before they come into handover. Østberg looks very much under control, Mike. 3 medals already at these championships, highly likely to make it 4 today. Is it going to be her first gold?
Hard team to beat. This Norwegian team is, even though Østberg is very much raced here over 5Ks, they're not going to let those red suits down. I thought that Sedova Her skis were not the best there. She didn't have the best grip on the uphill climb. She's got the glide, though, having to come wide.
Russia have done good work with the skis. We've seen that consistently throughout the championships. And we have another 2.5 kilometers of classic skiing to go, and then the technicians can relax a little bit because it's much easier to prepare the skating skis than it is the classic ones. Norway, Russia, Sweden, Germany as they go through the 7.5 kilometer stage, and Italy hanging on in 5th position at the moment. Not much has changed. The Italians just losing contact with the leading group over the last minute or so. Norway doing most of the donkey work at the moment. A little concern that Karlsson of Sweden and Russia with Anastasia Sadova are just feeding off the Norwegians and ready to make a move on the last time up the big climb.
Karlsson at only 19 years old, Patrick. She got so much press interest from that silver medal and so close to taking the gold ahead of Johaug. I would imagine that it's been a busy time for her. She doesn't, for me, Karlsson, look the way she was when she took that silver medal. There's something a little tense in her flow. The expectations now are massive upon her shoulders, and that changes things. At 19, that's a lot of pressure. Yeah, for Finnish fans out there, disappointing news, I think, at this stage. 15 seconds the gap going through 7.5. We'll get another readout on Palmakoski's position in just 20 seconds or so. You can see the leaders, 1.8 separating the top three. Hennig of Germany a metre or so behind. Østberg still looking strong. The skis are working well, but Germany and Russia seem to be on better skis than the two leading teams, and that's why they're still in touch. And they very much are. That was interesting. Frida Karlsson was going for a break. Her coach shouted something to her, and then she tucked in behind Heidi Weng. Palmakoski and Scardoni, 23 and 27. Yeah, I think the coach saying rest, rest, rest until you get to the final climb, then try and make a move, because Kalle would love to have a 10-second advantage over the Norwegians going into leg number 3. Astrid Jakobsen on the penultimate leg for Norway. I think the Swedish game plan at this stage, Patrick, would have been to have a 10-second lead. You know, that's the ultimate best possible. They haven't at the moment, still riding along with Norway. But if they wanted that, they would have put Johaug on this second classic leg. No, I'm saying Sweden would have expected that would have been their best hope at this stage. Absolutely. You may have picked up that Palmakoski of Japan dropping from 15 to 23 behind. Krista's not had a good championships by her own high standards. Remember, she wasn't the golden girl of Lahti, but she was the one who made the championships, the only woman out there who could get anywhere close to Marit Bjørgen. Oh, Marit was so strong. Now, I wonder what Marit thinks now. She'll be watching this, of course she is, and maybe wishing that she was involved in this quartet. Familiar pattern, Norway and Sweden pulling clear on the uphill, Russia and Germany closing it down again on the downhill, and this looks like a move from Østberg. She's got 2 meters over Karlsson, the junior. Karlsson needs a good experience here to add to the brilliant success she had in the 10-kilometer classic. She will not give up. The one thing you notice straight away is that she has an incredibly strong mind, but so does Østberg on the left of your screen. And one thing I really like about Østberg is the relay means as much to her as the individual races. Always. She'll only ever give 100%. And Østberg, she tried to break away. It looked like she was, but Karlsson matching her almost stride for stride. Who's going to lead? Karlsson didn't want to lead last time. Østberg, I think they just have to get on with it. Get down that hill. For it. Doesn't matter. It's not the end of the race. Yeah, and actually, if they work together, they can both gain ground on Russia and Germany, which they need to do, having put in such good work on the uphill section. Oh, Kalle Jakobsen coming up very soon. You know what could determine this race, Mike, is a fall on that corner, because it's still very fast, and as you get more and more tired, it's harder and harder to negotiate. Russia with Sadova looking a little shaky. That will have had the palms of the coaches sweating. Neshevskaya next for Russia. They're probably the weakest leg for the Russians, and they've just been detached. That single climb of 45 steep seconds, 50 seconds, has really damaged the field again, the chasers. The race pretty much going as the script writers had it. Norway and Sweden out front.
Russia battling for third. Germany are the team that have excelled themselves so far, but they put Sandra Ringwald on the third leg, so they want to stay in the action as long as possible. Laura Gimler, is she going to be able to hold on to the pace on the last leg? Certainly not. She's not going to match Johaug, and I don't think she's going to match Sweden's last leg runner, Stina Nielsen, either.
It's a good German team, and if this next leg goes badly, marginally badly for Russia, then that really does open the chances, the floodgates for German. Feel-good factor, motivation.
Husberg stronger on the bottom part of the hills, slightly slower over the top, which gives Carlsen a chance to draw level. They break to their left again as they come in and down to the exchange. It's a long, sweeping left-hand turn, picking up speeds of 35 kilometers an hour before they head into the finish area. Germany starting to get a little bit of a gap over Russia. That's a big move for them. Ringwald is going to be up against Nefeshkaya, who's probably the weakest of the Russian skiers. So a move for a German medal here. That would be their first in the cross-country stadium.
Well, second exchange into the freestyle coming up soon. Forget the grip wax. It's all about glide wax now on the skis.
4-5 meters advantage for Norway at the halfway stage. The classic is over. We're into the freestyle, and a nice little push for Charlotte Kalla to help her close the gap. And how important was that?
Well, look further behind. That's a terrible handover for the Russians, but back on track. Well, I think in these temperatures, I would certainly have those cooking hot ski suits off my upper body.
Germany are going for broke and trying to take advantage of that slip. Bolshnov did it in the team sprint, and that's just the worst way to start. Neshevskaya, Mike, when you go down like that, yeah, you don't use much energy, but your pulse rate goes up, and then your the whole system seems to be upset, and after about a minute of action, you feel so weak and shaky.
It's only a tiny moment, but your mindset thinks, oh, I've really goofed up, I've really messed up, and tension throughout your body. And maybe that was an indication of the nerves from Neshevskaya.
Charlotte Kalla bidding to become only the second Swede to have 6 medals from a major championships. Sexton Jernberg, the athlete she's trying to join. When was he? 60s, 70s?
Jernberg, yeah, 60s, I believe. It was a long time ago.
He was the big hero of Gunde Svan. And Gunde Svan, amongst many athletes invited here to Seefeld to award the prizes. Johan Mito has been here. Zorzi, the Italian sprinter from 2002, he's been around.
He certainly has. He was shouting so loud trackside. Well, this is interesting. I was just trying to see how the temperature here today is affecting us, affecting the skis pressing into the snow surface. It's not too bad, but it's certainly a better option, I think, to be in second place than first.
Now, you know, when you look at the last leg runners, Mike, Johaug versus Stina Nielsen. Nielsen's good over the sprint. She's brilliant. And actually, we saw her in the Tour de Ski 2 years ago, and she was a match for most of the Norwegians in the distance races as well. But she's not shown that sort of form this year. I'm just wondering whether you think Sweden are going to try and make a break on this third leg to give Nielsen a cushion.
Absolutely need to, and the longer this race is going, the stronger the chances. Now my barometer's going to the direction of Norway right now.
Norway, Sweden, Germany, Russia. So much speculation over the last 24 hours as to who is going to win the women's 4x5, and Sweden take the lead for the first time in a long time. A great battle for second and third. Germany have a lead over Russia, but they need it because of the final leg. There is no doubt that Neprayeva, the second in the World Cup standings at the moment, is stronger than Germany's Laura Gimler, who takes the final leg for them. And Kalla Mike with a move on that big climb. She's not shaken off Jakobsen, but you feel the pace is going to get faster and faster as this leg goes on, and they've got just over 2.5 kilometers to go.
Worryingly, no slipstreaming until now recently, and Jakobsen skis, for me, coping much better in these wet and soggy conditions. I like the way Charlotte Kala's using the snow. She's saying, come on by to Jakobsen. This is going to slow things right down.
Whoa, that was a dicey little moment. The left pole of Jakobsen planted inside the ski. Many a skier would have gone straight down on the snow with that. She recovered very quickly, but it might make her focus a little bit more for the last half of this third and crucial leg. Germany have clean snow between themselves and Russia, but remember, the Nepraeva-Gimler battle is only going to go one way if they start within 5 seconds of each other.
It's this Kala, she really made it clear that she wanted Jakobsen to take some lead time. Is this Kala beginning on the second to psych up for the second lap and really try and open up a gap? She really needs to.
But Norway are very good at controlling the pace when they know they're skiing with someone who's a little bit faster. We've seen it so many times, and Jakobsen knows her best chance is to keep the pace steady, and when Kala goes for a burst, just stick with her. Kala waves her on, and Kala, the senior athlete in that little duel. Although, of course, Jakobsen, you know, World Championship gold from a long time ago. Annette Bo. Yeah, double gold here back in 1985, the first championships where skating was introduced. And if you haven't seen it, do have a look at the footage from the women's 4x5 on that occasion. Annette Bo was sensational on the first leg.
She'd been on the glaciers all that summer with her knowledge that skating was going places. It was going to eventually take over the classic style.
Yeah, and that little reaction from Bo was all to do with Jakobsen planting the pole inside the ski. She knows just how dangerous that can be in terms of the possibilities of going down. Ringveld at 10.6, Mike. 14 seconds between Germany and Russia. How much does Gimler need over Nepraeva on the last 5K?
I would say she needs a comfortable 25 to survive, maybe 20 at a push. 5 kilometers on an easy track. It is quite difficult to pull large margins back. 20, 25. Kala, the strategy, it's not working. She needed to break free. She's not able to.
Sweden, they've been the bridesmaids on far too many occasions in this particular race. They were second in Falun in 2015, second in Lahti in 2017, second in Pyeongchang in 2018. Their last big success in a major, of course, that incredible relay in Sochi at the 2014 Games. Norway on that occasion down in 5th position. They had a nightmare. They had a nightmare games, to be honest, but they had a particular nightmare on that day.
Here comes Brennan chasing down Finland, who are now a minute detached from the lead. 36 seconds off the Russians in 4th place.
I don't think this is the scenario that the American quartet were imagining last night. Kern, Bjornsson, Brennan and Diggins. Diggins, if she started within 20-30 of the leaders, you would have seen an almighty fight, but she's too far back. Battle going on between France and Italy now, Mike.
Look at the cat and mouse switching, changing. Nobody wants to lead, and I think the incredibly warm conditions are playing a part in all areas of this race. Kala's not really able to break away ahead of Jakobsen, and that's advantage to Norway on the last leg.
Well, there is a little bit of breeze out there, which we haven't really had. It's not as strong as it was first thing this morning. And heading out of the stadium, they are going into the wind. So I wondered if that is why they were wanting the opposition to lead.
Now, Rikard Grip running along, giving his advice to Kala. Of course, Jakobsen will understand everything that he's saying. She'll know exactly what the plan is.
Yeah, I think Kala being told, give it 100% for the last 1.5 kilometers. They have got the big climb still to come. That is where a move is likely to be made, if it is going to be made. Germany at the last split were 10 seconds down. That has gone to 15. So there we are, saying how easy the course is, Mike. It is not that easy. If you can take 15 seconds out of Ringveld over the space of 1.5K, you know it's pretty tough. Russia have got to within 34 of the leaders, but more importantly, they've got back to within 9 seconds of Germany. So that may well help their cause in terms of winning the bronze medal today. Well, let's have a chat with Ebba Andersson, who, of course, was on the first leg for Sweden.
Ebba, there's a two-horse race now between Norway and Sweden. What's your predictions?
It's really exciting, and yeah, I think we have a good chance to take one of those medals, but yeah, it is a tough fight between us and Norway, so we will see how it will end.
And Nilsson versus Johaug on the last leg there. What's the tactics from Sweden?
I think Stina will just give everything and try to keep up with Teresa.
Good luck, thank you.
Thank you.
Well, we're back with the action, and just in time, because a crucial move has been made by Sweden. And who else but Charlotte Kalla, the golden girl of the Olympic Games. She has broken clear of Norway. The margin some 15-20 meters, but when they round the top of this hill, that gap is going to grow to 50, 60, 70 meters, and it could well be decisive. The Swedish camp starting to jump around with joy because they haven't seen a margin like this over Norway for many, many years.
What a killer she is. When she goes with a pace, she can often live with it. We saw that in Sochi, where it mattered so much to Sweden from fourth to the gold medal on the last leg.
Was it inevitable? Perhaps that Kalla's form would come good at some stage, but this isn't so much about form, Mike. This is about the strength of her head and her will to win in this situation.
Oh, well, that was some turn of pace, but look at Nilsson, Stina Nilsson. She must be very anxious on this last leg. She looks anxious. Who wouldn't be anxious with Therese Johaug lining up to chase her?
Is she going to give Kalla a cheer? No. Just keeps staring ahead, focusing on her own job. There's the last little climb. Germany and Russia again. And Russia have done very, very good work on this leg. Neviskaya was deemed to be the weak link, but she's absolutely taken Sandra Ringveld apart, who probably skied the first 2.5 a little bit too fast. She was only 10 seconds off the pace of the leaders going through 2.5. That is going to be closer to 40 by the time she goes round. And look at the margin that Kalla has taken off Jakobsen.
Well, I think we thought that Jakobsen was really upset. Clearly, after her 10-kilometre classic race, her form had just dropped away. She was not happy, and I thought she'd suffer a lot of pressure today.
Well, Kalla is going to enjoy what she sees when she comes round this corner, because she can't help but see the Norwegians coming up the hill, and she will know that she's got a margin of around 10, maybe even 15 seconds by the time she comes into the exchange, and that is the advantage that Nilsson gets out of Therese Johaug.
I think this will be closer to 20, and I think we thought that 25 Nilsson would need if she wants to survive ahead of Therese, but all she needs to do is get in behind Therese Johaug if she can survive ahead for one lap and then go for the sprint finish. Easy to talk about, very hard to do.
So Sweden, who have not won a world title in the 4x5 in the modern era, have been given their best possible chance. It's the world's best sprinter versus the world's best distance athlete for the next 5,000 meters. Will it go Sweden's way or Norway's way?
18.8, Patrick. I thought she needed 25. Therese is going to hunt this down so fast. Probably the first lap.
I don't think there's too much difference between Norway and Sweden's skis, Mike. Can we rule that out as a factor?
Didn't seem to be a factor. I felt that Jakobsen was slightly better glide outside of the slipstream than the Swedish athletes, so we'd expect them to be fairly level.
There's the battle for the bronze medal, and Russia, I think, will be confident now because they know that Neprayeva at 85% is still a match for Laura Gimler of Germany at 100%. Look at the gap. It was 10 seconds at the last exchange. My goodness, Sweden and Norway have turned up the pressure, and they've shown themselves to be in a league of their own. I think we all knew it was going to be Norway versus Sweden, but I don't think we were quite envisaging them being this far ahead at this stage. 3 legs gone, 1 to go. It's Sweden ahead of Norway, and Russia and Germany fighting it out for bronze. Almost no change. They're through 16 kilometers, under 3K, under 4Ks now to go in this women's 4x5, and still Norway trail by 18.4. So Johaug, Mike, has got to gain 5 seconds a kilometer if she's going to stand a chance, because if they come into the stadium together, there is only one winner, and it's not Norway.
Well, absolutely, but that first kilometer where there was no change was the easiest 1 kilometer. Give Therese Johaug some hills, and she'll soon suck that time back. And now she's coming into the zone in the track where she will start dragging time back. She won't make much change on the flat at all. And Stina Nielsen out front looks fantastic today. She's got desire to take this gold.
And Johaug has to make touch with Sweden before the final climb. And then she's got to do to Nielsen what Kalle did to Jakobsen.
Yes, to break away, to get, what was it, an immediate, in what, 1.5 kilometers, Kalle took 17 seconds out of Jakobsen. Amazing.
But don't forget, Nielsen has been out and out the best sprinter in the world this year, and once she gets to that 1500 meter mark, she'll just say it's only one more sprint, and she'll just change gear.
The work rate out front, though, Patrick, and the aggression of this wet snow, it doesn't allow much freedom of glide, so you're working very hard, and Nielsen needs to be a little careful she doesn't overfry herself.
Germany's skis are fantastic. There should be a technician's prize at every race. There's no doubt that Germany's skis are going well. Now the gap is starting to close. You can start your own stopwatch round the top of the corner by my watch at 23 seconds past, and that is 5 seconds. From 18, it's cut to 8, but that's the one bit of the course where Johaug can gain ground, and she's done exactly that.
And do you know what? Then the next time I would expect them to be together at the bottom of that major climb, and Therese will take 5, 6, 7 seconds out of Nielsen.
That might not be enough. That might not be enough, because Nielsen, a little bit heavier, will get good glide through the stadium, and once she's into the final hill, she will go into overdrive. She's the Klæbo of the women's sprinting this year, and she'll be fully confident.
She's not tucking very low. Yes, she's free skating, but look how high Stina Nielsen is standing. Maybe that hamstring is still playing a little issue. Look at Therese pushing strong out, free skating as well. Oh my word, she's closing down.
Nielsen is going to see exactly what she's got to play with. I thought there was always a danger, Mike, when you're given a 20-second lead, and have a look at Johaug make the climb. She goes into it at a tempo twice of that of Stina Nielsen of Sweden. This takes a lot of strength to use the skate 2 on this hill. There aren't many women who can do that, and generally it's quicker.
It's building a lot of lactic, though. You know, it's like pushing extremely heavy weights in the gym at high frequency. It's hard work through the muscles.
Norway, not only can they see Sweden, they can smell them now. This is the sort of situation that everyone wanted to see. I think it's going to be a 50-50 with the crowd in terms of who they want to win, Mike, but all of them want to see a good race. We've been spoilt. The women's 10K was amazing. The men's 15-kilometer was one of the best ever time trials that we've seen. A victory there for Martin Jonsrud Sundby, but I suspect that the neutrals would like the whites to win this one.
I'm sure they would, but I'm not sure it's going to happen. 8 seconds remaining, and this easy part of the course, you just see Nielsen sucking in air. Of course, the same as Johaug, sucking in about 150 litres a minute for women. It's over 250 for men. And this gap is closing.
Are we agreed that Johaug has to be in touch with Sweden before the start of the final big climb? Not the last one in the stadium, but the really big one, the Sprinters' Hill.
They need to be... Norway need to be there with Sweden. In fact, I think they need to be much ahead. But we saw there on the stadium hill, the easier hill, Johaug just destroyed Kalle's skate 2. So there's a second chance for Therese Johaug to break Stina on the hills.
Okay, let's clarify that. Norway have to have a lead at the top of that big climb, not the last final one, but the big climb.
I think so.
How much of the lead do they need there? 10, 15?
8.
8.
Let's go precise. Who knows how it's going to work out, but Stina is hurting out front. Therese is really tied up. And look at this for third place, for that precious bronze medal.
Yeah, and there's no doubt that Gimler skis have given her every chance. She's gliding longer, she's resting more on the downhills, but there is still one big climb to go. And don't forget that Natalia Neprayeva is sitting second in the World Cup standings. She got the bronze medal in the skiathlon. She was 4th in the team sprint, 7th in the 10K Classic. That was a disappointing run for Neprayeva, but she is a brilliant athlete, and she's going to make life very hard for Germany.
We've nearly got that next 8 seconds closed down, probably got it down to 4 now, Therese Johaug.
Oh, it is the perfect scenario. We are going to see if Nielsen can raise a sprint the final time up that big climb. If she can and she can round that top corner with Therese Johaug, then Sweden are still the favourites. And Mike, Johaug is working so hard. How can she possibly do it again on the next 2 climbs?
Well, but on the other side, of course, Stina seems to be pushing so hard. Her brief was, do not let Therese close this down too fast.
8.3 as they went through the 2.5 kilometre stage. It's down to 6.6. Not even 2 seconds taken out of Sweden so far on this lap. 1,500 metres to go.
Therese Johaug, Patrick, absolutely knows that her strength is not on the flat and easy part of this track. Her strength comes when it comes to gutsy, tough, steep climbing, and they're coming up very, very soon.
Well, we're coming towards the base of the big climb, and Sweden still have a very, very useful advantage, and I can't see Norway closing that 6.6 on the approach to the base.
This is so interesting, and for bronze medal, Neprayeva realizes the skis that Gimler has are fantastic, and she's backed her pace off. She's going to try and get rid of Gimler on the climbs as well.
Well, that is a pedestrian pace, and the margin when they went through the split in the stadium was 1:35 last time. They are going to be almost 2 minutes behind, possibly, by the time they go through the split.
And if this pace for bronze slows down more, Jess Diggins will be on their case. The gap isn't so bad. Jess is 2:15 behind, Germany 1:35 behind.
A long look over the shoulder from Neprayeva. Now, here we go. This is the crucial climb, and this is where Norway must get a clean lead before the top. And look at Johaug's tempo coming into the bottom. She's going to have to go to the left to find some clean snow to get past Stina Nielsen. She cannot afford to tuck in behind. She asks her to move over, but still no movement. What is Johaug doing? She's got to get 10, 15 metres clear before the top of this climb.
Stina needs to pick her tempo up. It's about frequency on these steep hills. Look at the frequency from Therese Johaug on the right. This is spicy.
Still Nielsen holding a little bit of ground, and she knows she's only got 20 metres to go, but the technique's starting to fail the big Swede.
18.8 seconds back.
But Johaug has not done on the top of this climb what we were expecting, Mike, and with every metre covered, the pendulum swings towards Sweden. They know that Stina Nielsen is the best sprinter, but neither athlete are at their full strength. Johaug's worked so hard. Nielsen is hanging on in there. It's still to be decided.
Theresa's skis are good. She was sucking air. She was like a goldfish out of water. That mouth was wide open. She's taking herself to the limit.
1 minute 10 seconds to go here in Seefeld to decide the winner of the women's 4x5. Norway with 4 World Championship victories in succession, looking to make it 5. And look at the speed of Stina Nielsen coming down into the stadium, and that surely will raise the spirits of the Swedish fans, because the last 300 metres is a long downhill sweeping finish into that long finishing turn. And now Johaug comes back, Mike, but she's got to get, now she has to get her 10 seconds on this final climb.
Of course, Therese Johaug knows she has to pass, get rid of Stina Nielsen on this climb. But Stina's an out-and-out sprinter, but has the distance, the 4.8 kilometres, taken too much out of her. She needs to hold the front.
Yeah, Johaug has got to use the slipstream. She needs to tuck in behind Nielsen if she's got any chance at all. Nielsen will be fully confident. She knows her skis are a little bit faster. She knows she's quicker over the last 100 metres. And Johaug all she can do is round the top bend in the wake of the Swedes. 170 metres to go. One downhill coming.
This section hasn't been skied on. It's even wetter. It's not an advantage for Stina at the front. Absolutely not.
Stina Nielsen stays as close to the advertising hoardings as possible. Johaug does well to stay in the slipstream, but this is where Stina Nielsen is so strong. Has Johaug got something in there? The answer is no, and it's Sweden pulling clear. 50 metres to go. Victory is going to Sweden. A brilliant, brilliant performance. Anderson, Karlsson, Kalle, and Stina Nielsen doing just the job she was put on the ankle leg for. And Norway, for once, have to settle for the silver. Devon Kershaw got the prediction absolutely right. 55.21 the winning time, and Nielsen pulled the sprinting genius out of the bag just when it was needed.
Well, I think when we saw the start sheets this morning, to see Therese Johaug, the fastest skier but the least effective sprinter on the ankle leg, it threw up some questions really, and it hasn't paid off for Norway.
You cannot win them all. And Mike, I think in years to come they'll discuss whether Johaug should have gone on the second leg and put a bit of a gap. Should they have done that and then put Faller on the final leg to match Nielsen, who would have had a much better chance over the last 150 metres?
Well, and Usberg, when it comes to finishing pace and sprinting, Usberg. But anyway, they ran it the way they did, with the vision that they had, and it didn't work. So it's well done to Sweden for surviving the pain out there. Russia have broken clear for a third, a bronze medal. Or have I got that wrong?
Well, no.
No.
It's a fall from Germany, and we missed that because we were focusing on those in the finish. And Germany, who have worked so hard with Gimler to get into the bronze medal position, has that handed Russia slightly confused at the moment? Because last time we saw it, Germany were ahead of Russia.
That was Gimler's legs completely spent, having tried to stay with of course, Neprayeva, and it just hasn't worked out.
Yeah, so Neprayeva, who was down to a snail's pace with 1,500 to go, saved all her energy for that last climb, and it has won Russia the bronze medal. But look at the margin between second and third. Sweden and Norway, a class apart. Fantastic race. It just gets better and better as the championships goes on.
Well, if you were 19-year-old and you've got a silver from the 10K classic race as Frida Niels Karlsson has, now she's got a gold and a silver from her first ever World Championships.
Only two nations sharing the gold medals in the stadium so far. Norway with 7, Sweden now with 2. The women's team sprint and, of course, the women's relay. Nielsen playing a part in both of those. Dahlqvist, of course, also on the podium with Nielsen in the team sprint. Didn't get a part in the race today. The Swedes got the tactics absolutely right, Mike.
They did, and I think we have to praise Therese Johaug to pull back nearly 20 seconds. And it was only in the last kilometre she destroyed herself to close that gap, and then you've got nothing in your legs. She had to pass Stina on the final climb, and she couldn't. Stina reacted and said, nope, not letting you pass. She picked up the pace. And that was tough for Therese Johaug, having put all the work in to get that far.
Yeah, it was really power skiing versus tempo skiing, and the power paid off in the end. United States of America 5th, Jessie Diggins working hard, but still over 3 minutes behind. Well, there's the key player for the Swedish team, Stina Nielsen, but she will be the first to congratulate the others. Anderson, Karlsson, and then Charlotte Kalle, who made the break on leg number 3. You can always rely on Charlotte Kalle.
Incredible, even when she's not on form, Charlotte Kalle, put her in a team situation, and she seems to bring something even more spectacular to her performance.
Her 6th championship gold makes her one or two of the most successful Swedes at World Championship level, and that is a major achievement. Finland down in 6. That's a bit of a surprise, Mike. If we go back to Lahti, they took the bronze medal. They took the bronze medal in Falun 2 years before that, but they didn't really feature in Pyeongchang last year.
France, I thought France did well in the early stages, in fact finishing 8th, just behind Italy. It's a good performance, and only 13 behind Finland.
As far as I can work out, only, what, 5 teams have shared gold in the women's relay. Russia, of course, and then the Soviet Union, if we count them as 2, Norway, Finland and Germany, and Sweden becoming the 6th today. The first time they've won this when it hasn't been part of the Olympic Games. That will mean so much more to them. 55:21 the winning time, comparing that to Lahti 52:21, so 3 minutes slower, and probably all down to the snow conditions.
Very much. Slovenia, 9th position, started strong, 4:21 behind. Are we all going to jump together?
How do you think Jakobsen feels? Third leg, another, you know, she's had good experiences, but she's now had 2 pretty bad ones in the last 2 years.
I'll be honest, I was surprised she was in the lineup as well with Fala there. I expected maybe some changes in that Norwegian team.
Yeah, Jakobsen, the only one of the Norwegian quartet who's struggling to raise a smile. Charlotte Kalla is not having the same problems.
She can't see.
Yeah, she is an immensely popular figure in Sweden.
Stina Nilsson, that was... She's an out-and-out sprinter, really. Yes, she can go the distance, but it takes the sting out of your sprint. She had everything today. She had the endurance and the sprint at the end.
Yeah, but remember 2 years ago, her performances in the Tour de Ski when she was up against Heidi Weng and Usberg over 5, 10K, and they struggled to beat her then. So when she's on form, she's pretty much top 5 in terms of distance skiing as well.
Yeah, 12 minutes of pain.
Japan 14th place, 6 minutes. The leading teams were covering every kilometre in under 2 minutes 20. So that gives you some idea of how far they are behind.
Hey, this means a lot to Sweden. We're always hearing the Norwegian anthem, which is great. They deserve it. They've worked hard, but it'll be especially good today for Sweden to beat Norway.
It went as per the script, exactly as the script was written. It was just immense from Sweden. Well, the fans enjoyed that, Mike. We've got the men's 4x10 tomorrow, the 30K for women, so they've got 48 hours to recover. That's on Saturday, and then the finale, the grand finale in the Seefeld Stadium will be the men's 50. If it's as warm as it is today, that's going to feel like 150.
Can you imagine how, and the drag factor in this soaking wet snow, it'll feel horrendous, and it'll be a tactical race we'd expect, no run away from early on, but we have seen actually that happen before with Olsen in 2013 in the 50K.
Well, let's see confirmation of the top 9. Sweden have a golden day in Seefeld. Norway a silver. Their medals just keep mounting up, but they're used to taking gold. So interesting situation for them. And Russia a solid 3rd, but I don't think they were expecting quite such a big battle with Germany for that bronze medal. And the United States of America 5th is still very, very good, but they lost too much ground in the early legs and never really had a chance of challenging for the podium. Julia Kern lost a lot of time on the first leg, but well done to Sweden. They have come to Seefeld and won the women's 4x5. They've stopped Norway's run of success. Well, I'm exhausted after that. I don't know about the skiers. And how do they recover in time for their longest race, the 30K?
It's especially for Usberg, for example, who's done everything so far. It's going to be difficult. The legs are exhausted today. Yes, it was 5 kilometers, but yet another race, and psychologically that's tiring as well.
And don't forget, we've got the second phase of the Nordic Combined coming up this afternoon in just over an hour's time. That's all from us. We'll hand back to Devon and Carsten now to get their feedback on the race.
Yeah, we are back in the studio with the silver winners. Well, Ingvild Flygstad, that was a thriller.
Yeah, oh my God, that was almost too exciting. It was just a little too short for us, I guess. Therese was doing a great job on the 4th leg. But Stina, she's really strong in the finish. So yeah, Sweden was a little too strong for us today.
How was it to watch the last leg here?
Oh my God, I didn't think that Therese was gonna catch her because it was, I don't know, 20 seconds or something, and that's a lot in 5K. But when she managed to catch her on the second last uphill, then I thought, okay, maybe we have a chance. But Stina, she was really strong in the finish, so yeah, too exciting.
But when we heard the starting order, it was like, okay, maybe Sweden will take this. Because you were surprised by the starting order.
I was a little bit surprised by the starting order, but I heard that Maiken isn't feeling 100%. Is that right?
We discussed different starting orders, like everything, I guess. And I was prepared to do the last leg as I've done in the World Cup relays. But I also know that I can do really good classic legs, and we know that maybe if we have skied out like together on the last leg, then the chance for Therese to ski away from Stina will be bigger than the chance of anyone else. But unfortunately, it was too many seconds to catch up for Therese, and then it's difficult when Stina is so strong at the finish.
And the yeah, sorry.
Oh, sorry. I just have a quick question. It has been scorching hot today. How was it with Classic in these really, really warm temperatures?
Oh yeah, I was actually it was quite okay to get good grip, but a little difficult because some parts of the track are yeah, a lot of sun and some parts in the shadow. But at the same time, it's like there's no rest. You have to double pole all over, and it's easier to ski as the second skier in the track. But you know that like no one maybe wants to be first, so someone just have to do the hardest job. And yeah, it was for sure a really tough job, but I think I'm really satisfied with my leg, and I think I skied really fast second lap on my 5K.
Yeah, great work. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thanks so much, Ingvild. Congrats.
Thank you.
Silver medal. But you know, the last kilometer there from this relay, Devon, that's epic.
No, yeah, the last kilometer of the relay was epic, but the real work started in the third leg when Charlotte Kalla absolutely destroyed and dismantled Astrid Jakobsen. You got to feel for Astrid. When Charlotte Kalla is feeling good and she's skating like she was skating today, there's not many people. The only one that could probably touch her was Therese, and Norway was lucky to have Therese on that last leg to bring it back and make it a fight.
Yeah, if you can see the last hill here after a while, Devon, because you had some key moments in this relay.
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, in the key moments in this relay, they were absolutely amazing job by Heidi Wang, amazing job by Ingvild. We heard her. She was really satisfied with her race. You see them coming through the exchange here, and as Frida Karlsson goes out, it's a two-horse race by this point. They were able to drop Russia. Sedova not able to hold on, and Frida Karlsson and Ingvild are coming down the hill together into that last exchange, and this is where Kalla shines. If you recall back to 2014 in the 4x5K relay there, Charlotte Kalla had just a beastly leg, and here she is again going out, and little does Astrid know she's having a day like that before. You see Kalla, she waves Astrid through at the end of the first lap. She's racing so cunningly, and here you go. Coming out into that second lap, this is when Kalla starts winding it up. By the time we get to the sprint hill, that Klæbo hill where all the men were stopping, no one's stopping today. Charlotte Kalla just keeps crushing over the top. You can't even see Astrid anymore. Jakobsen is far, far behind, and Kalla takes this corner absolutely perfectly, holding her speed. She still has some power in her legs, and into the exchange, what a major dismantling. She's exchanges to Stina Nilsson, who goes out with a whopping 18.8 seconds. Unbelievable stuff by Charlotte Kalla. You see Stina Nilsson, maybe if you're a Swedish fan, you're a little stressed because after one lap, Therese Johaug was able to pull back 10 seconds, but little to fear. When I saw Stina Nilsson there in those pictures, she was not at all in difficulty. She paced herself perfectly, and when Therese finally did make contact, you see Stina, she plays a little game of possum. Stina's not at all tired over the top of this. Well, they're tired. They're racing for the World Championship gold, but she was not in total difficulty. Great job by Therese. She had to try on the hill, and sure, she leads over the top, but Stina Nilsson uses that slingshot effect to get into the lead, and like we've talked about a lot this week, she has the shortest line to the finish line. You see Therese, she's trying to get out, but it's too soft over there. No one has skied, and it's a longer line. So Stina Nilsson gets the perfect line. You see the Swedish team, Ebba Andersson, Charlotte Kalla, Frida, they're all pumped, and coming around the corner here, it's all over before it begins. Stina Nilsson's the best sprinter in the world, and there's a reason for that. because when you have 100 meters to go, especially against a distance superstar like Therese Johaug, I'm sorry to say, no one in the world would touch Stina Nilsson here, and it secures a gold medal for Sweden. What a day.
And great credit to Stina Nilsson, because she had like 18 seconds when she got tucked on the shoulder by Charlotte Kalla, and she also had 18.3 after 1 kilometer of the 5 kilometers. So, but what Therese Johaug did in the last 4 kilometers, that had to cost.
No, yeah.
Because when you go on the last hill and you, let's just get rid of Sweden, but you can't because you use too much energy.
Yeah, I don't even think using too much energy, Karsten. I think that Therese Johaug was she's the strongest athlete in these championships in the distance events. And to make up almost 20 seconds in 4 short kilometers is an absolutely heroic feat. The problem is, Stina Nilsson, if you see the images when she's coming through the lap, and Therese had cut it down to only 8 seconds, 8.3 seconds there after 2.5K, Stina doesn't look, she looks like she's out for a Sunday stroll. She knew not to put herself in difficulty because she knew she needed the legs, she needed the energy for the sprint hill, and then the last 600-meter run-in. She needed to feel good for that, and she did feel good for that, and she executed to perfection, and another gold medal for Stina Nilsson.
It is,
and the crew.
Yeah, 2 gold medals for her, and of course Frida Karlsson, who did the second leg. She was the queen of the junior championship in Lahti. Now she walks away, well, still has 1 silver from the 10K, and now she has a gold medal from the relay. Oh. She's a junior. She's 19.
No, it's amazing. She is absolutely not just the biggest star, the up-and-coming star of the Swedish team, but she's a huge, huge star of cross-country skiing. What a great story. She's a phenomenal athlete. The fact that she was able to ski under pressure like she did with Ingvild Flugstad Osberg on that second leg and ski with such authority. Those early legs, you only have one job. You got to stay with the leading. You got to stay with the leading teams. And Frida Karlsson did a great job to stay with Ingvild. And it all kind of went south for Norway when Astrid got a little too stiff. But I feel for her.
All right, let's listen from the world champions.
World champion in team relay, Sweden. How does it feel, Charlotte?
It's a dream coming true, because we have been training hard all summer and fall, and it has been a great effort from whole team, and not only the one standing beside me.
Of course, and you've shown also very strong competitions throughout the World Cup season as well. But a world champion title, have you ever dreamed of that?
I couldn't imagine. It's fantastic.
Yeah, it's like a dream really come true. So we are super happy to stand on top of this podium today.
And Stina, what a fight! Any words?
It was so tough conditions. The conditions out there was so tough. It was a real struggle to try to push hard, and I was so hunted by Therese, so that was a bit stressing. But I'm so happy that the girls gave me such a good advantage before her, because I needed it today, and I'm so happy to be first on the finish line.
Full girls power. Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you.
Swedish champions, and of course Charlotte Kalla going into the championships was so unsecure. How's my form? Am I in good enough shape? We had some answer to that during the skiathlon, also on the 10K. What she did today on the third leg? Talk us through that one, Devin.
Oh, I mean, what Charlotte Kalla did on the third leg shows why she's a world champion, shows why she's an Olympic champion. And I mean, I haven't seen Charlotte Kalla ski 5 kilometers so fast since back in 2014, when she just had that most amazing leg to secure that gold medal for Sweden in those Olympics. But the reality is, you know, when we interviewed her here in the mix zone after the skiathlon, she was disappointed, she was sick, she wanted more, but at the same time, she told us there that she fell. But when we looked at the split times, even with the fall, Charlotte Kalla was so strong in the skating leg. And I mean, I'm not going to say the writing was on the wall, because it wasn't, but she was just absolutely amazing. Look at this on the hill, Karsten. She's just... Astrid Jakobsen, I've got to really feel for her. She just got stiff at the absolute worst moment. This is not when you want your legs to abandon you. And when you're up against an Olympic champion, a world champion, and such a great competitor, a legend of Sweden, like Charlotte Kalla in skating, in her favorite discipline, you're going to be in for a world of hurt. And that world of hurt just multiplied into like a pain cave that was too deep to get out of. And that was the decisive moment of this race, Karsten.
Yeah, but you take gold as a team, and you also take silver as a team. But that feeling, as you said, that Astrid Jakobsen have there, because she knows that if I let Kalla now go and she gets 20 seconds, this goal might be over.
Yeah, no, I really, really feel for Astrid, because I've been there. I've absolutely destroyed our chances in Canada for relays before. I've had both sides of the coin. Some days you feel good, some days you feel like garbage, and that's the hard thing with the relay. That's what makes it exciting, Karsten. That's what gets these fans excited. That's why the stands are packed. The relay, you're not just competing for yourself. And like you said, you win as a team and you lose as a team. And the reality was Norway was almost good enough, but Sweden was the better nation, the better team today.
All credit to the Swedes. So they were fantastic for 4 legs. But we talked about it before the start of the race, Devon, the starting order for the Norwegian team. Do you think that if they could choose again, they will do something else? Would they have Østberg on the last one?
Oh, it's so hard to know, right? I mean, Ingvild, obviously, in our interview there, she had great success, but at the same time, it's hard to say, and woulda, coulda, shoulda, didn't. The fact is, Sweden's the world champions.
They are, and now they're getting ready for the flower ceremony.
Well, here we are for the podium positions, and Sweden at the start of the day, they had maybe some doubts, but as we heard, they have been preparing for this moment for so long, a real sense of team effort today, and I think their running order, they know their running order was absolutely perfect. It played out beautifully, and Charlotte Kalla was key to that success.
Auf Platz 3 für Russland. In third place, the team representing the Russian Federation, Yulia Belorukova, Anastasia Zedova, Anna Nizheyevskaya, Natalia Nepryaeva.
Well, the Russians will be delighted. It looked for some part of the race, Germany was there for most of the race, in fact. At the end, they were stronger.
Norwegian. In second place, the team representing Norway, Heidi Weng, Ingvild Flugstad Østberg, Astrid Urenholt Jacobsen, Therese Johaug.
Well, Jacobsen, we saw her earlier looking so disappointed, but you could only give your best, and today that best was just a little short from what Sweden could provide.
Auf Rang 1 und Weltmeister für Schweden. First place and world champions, the team representing Sweden. Ebba Andersson, Frida Karlsson, Charlotte Kalla, Stina Nilsson.
What a day for Sweden. It's been a long time in the waiting, and today it must feel so, so good to be Swedish. They're so happy with that performance.
They came close in Falun. They came close in Lahti. Today, finally, they stand on the top step. And a much-deserved victory for Sweden, and also, Mike, with so many youngsters in the team. I know Charlotte Kalla's the veteran there, but with Karlsson and Andersson, wow, what a future they've got.
They have, and of course there's Dahlqvist, there's many, many more names that are strong in the younger category in Sweden now.
And Russia the same, some young skiers in there, Nepryaeva, Belorukova, they are going to be challenging for top honours.
Very much, and Norway, they're always the team to chase, and you know, they didn't do much wrong today. It was to the line as expected, and maybe they'll be looking and thinking, could we have done something different in our running order, or even with different people in that running order?
Yeah, you have to feel for Jacobsen. You know, it seems as though she was the one that let Norway down, but she was up against one of the greatest championship skiers of all time. Charlotte Kalla just knows how to raise a game at the right time. Sweden's second gold in the cross-country stadium.
The new world champions, the national anthem of Sweden.
A refreshing change to hear the Swedish national anthem, and the celebrations will start in the Swedish camp, but there are still 3 more cross-country races to go. The men's 4x10 tomorrow, the women's 30 on Saturday, and the men's 50 on Sunday. And don't forget, Nordic Combined, we've got to finish that one off. They start at 3:15 local time, so at 2:15 in the UK. Ribe of Norway will be leading out of the stadium on the 10-kilometre. Well, let's hand back to Devon and Karsten in the studio.
Well, I'll give you this. You predicted that podium.
Yeah,
1 hour ago.
No, for sure, but I had the nervous sweats for that one. That wasn't an easy one when you have the likes of Therese Johaug on your team and the great champions. I mean, Östberg has been so strong this year too. It wasn't not a gimme, but at the end of the day, I really, really believed in Sweden. I really believed in the order they put out, and I got lucky. But you got to be good to be lucky, Karsten.
That's true. And there's now is one race for the ladies left here in Seefeld. That's a 30K. And what Charlotte Kalla showed today. Is she turning out to be one of the high outsiders for the gold on Saturday?
It's hard to say with the gold because the 30K is so long, but in skating, what the performance Charlotte Kalla was able to put forth today, she is most definitely catapulted herself into a favorite to take a medal, along with Frida Karlsson, along with Therese Johaug. So it is Östberg too. I mean, there's a lot of big names, but after that performance today, Karsten, I think that was one of the best. That and 2014 at the Olympics was the best relay leg that Charlotte Kalla has ever done in her life. So she's right back in it, absolutely.
Yeah, and one team we haven't talked so much about is Russia. Because, all right, they take the bronze, but maybe they feel that the time gap is quite big. It's 1.5 minutes, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was more than that. I mean, it was quite a big time gap between the Russians and the top 2 teams. But at the end of the day, they just, you know, the name of the game in the 4x5 or the 4x10 tomorrow for the men is contact, and you have to remain in contact. And the second that Sedova got dropped by Frida Karlsson and Ingvild Flugstad Östberg, that was it. And once you lose contact, the seconds just start exploding. And once they explode, you can't put them back in the jar, Karsten. They're gone. They're all over the kitchen counter. And then you have a mess on your hands, and that's what we saw.
All right, but they still got bronze in this championship. And you see here that she's kissing the camera, so I think she's happy to walk away from here with something.
And they should be happy. I mean, bronze medal at the World Championships, amazing result. And you don't have to go back that long ago. I mean, Nepreva, Belarukova, they really burst onto the scene a few years ago. And prior to that, it was a medal wasteland for the Russian women. So I tip my hat to the Russian women. They've been so strong this year, last year, and the year before. It's been great, and congratulations on a great bronze medal.
Yeah, we see the Norwegian King together with the relay team, and to the left, Erik Røste is the president of the Norwegian ski team, and also Queen Sonja is there to congratulate the Norwegian team with the silver. But is it a change of reign now with the Swedish team? Norway won in 11, they won in 13, they won in 15, they won in 17. Sweden won it in 2019. That's the first victory they had in the World Champ since, what is it, the 50s?
No, it was a great race by Sweden. It's a bit of changing of the guard, but at the end of the day, the sad reality is Norway just has not been as strong as the Swedish women this year, all in all. Of course, Therese Johaug is the best skier in the world this whole year. She hasn't lost a race. And of course, Ingvild Flugstad Östberg is leading the World Cup standings, so she's been absolutely amazing. But aside from that, a lot of the Norwegian women have had a bit of a struggle this year. And the Swedish women, you've seen, Charlotte Kalla has had a tough year, but all the others on the team have been absolutely phenomenal. And that's not even to say of the sprint team. The Swedish sprint team for women is the toughest and best team of the year, so it shouldn't be a huge surprise that Sweden won.
And the feeling that Stina Nilsson have to have now, because she tore her hamstring in Otepää during the semifinals there in the sprint 1 month ago. She comes here not too sure about her form. Now she has 2 gold medals.
Two gold medals. 2 gold medals and a silver from the sprint, Karsten. So, I mean, if you're going to take a month off and come back, and that's the little goodie bag at the end of the rainbow, that's a pretty good one.
It is, and now she's got the gold here and gold in the team sprint. All right, we're going to take a break from Seefeld, but when we come back, it's a Nordic combined 10K pursuit with a Norwegian leader and the King of Germany, Frenzel. He's quite he's got over a minute to take on a Norwegian.
No, I'm sorry to say Frenzel is out, but Ribber could take his first gold medal of the championships, and the Austrians always dangerous here at home.
Okay, we'll see you in 25 minutes here from Seefeld.
Well, what a morning it's been here in Seefeld. We, of course, have one race still to go today, the 10-kilometre for the Gundersen, and Ribe of Norway looking to give Norway their 8th gold medal. He's in a good position.